Our lives simplified. And Lily Rice, tasty foods, happy family. Lily, yinim nu free tete. I've got exciting news for everyone looking to join MTN or grab an extra MTN SIM card. All MTN SIM cards are now available for the incredible price of 10 CDs. Yep, you heard that right. Head down to any MTN service center, Connect store, or your nearest authorized community shop to take advantage of this fantastic offer. Remember to purchase a new SIM card and get connected. All you need to bring along is your valid Ghana card. Experience the most amazing network when you join the Yellow family today. Are you tired of juggling multiple shortcodes and payment apps? Then simplify your life with Koba. Yeah, dial *365 or you can use the Koba mobile app to pay water bills, buy electricity, top up airtime, transfer funds, and many more, all in one place. It's fast, secure, and works on all networks. Download the app on the App Store, Play Store. You can call 020-040-4010. Koba, our lives simplified. Well, it's time to get rewarded as the next sports betting influencer with Betway. Place bets and share your codes with friends, fans, and followers. If you place bets using your code, you will earn 4% of their wager. It doesn't matter if it's a win or a loss. If they bet, you'll earn. And the more people that bet with your codes, the more you learn. So start betting today, sharing and winning with the Bet Influencer, exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway. Get way more. You know, the joy of every parent is to see their child grow to become more intelligent and physically fit. To achieve this desire, every parent needs to ensure that their children are given nutritious foods that have the essential nutrients which can promote their well-being. And one of the best of such nutritious foods is Vitamilk soy milk drink. Yeah, Vitamilk is made from whole grain soybean, which is a good source of plant protein and is enriched with omega-3, 6, and 9. Calcium and the essential nutrients and multivitamins recommended for healthy living. Vitamilk has no artificial coloring, no artificial flavorings, and no preservatives. For over 20 years in Ghana, Vitamilk still remains the number one in quality, in taste, and in nutritional benefits and reliability among most preferred beverages in Ghana. So choose Vitamilk Champ for your children. Vitamilk is indeed a nutritious beverage that feels good anywhere, anytime. So CEO of Medical's Hospital Mampong Kapim and East Legon Hills, Dr. Yao Osafo is back. Hello, Doc.
I love that introduction.
Yes. No, man. I miss you, man. How are you?
I miss you too much.
Ah.
Yes. How are you?
It feels like it's been so long.
Yes.
It's just like, what, 3 weeks now?
Yeah, 3 weeks. Because I missed the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go and rest small.
Well, you look well rested and big now. What are you eating?
Butter.
Well. Wow.
It's good to see you, Kwame.
You look so good. It's
Thank
good
you.
to see you
Thank
too.
you.
Welcome
Thank you.
back. But
Thank
how are
you.
you and how's the family?
Everybody's fine.
That's great.
We're doing good.
Nice.
And we're able to serve the Ghanaian public as well. And that always gives me the greatest joy.
And I'm happy a lot of friends tell me that they've been coming by the medical hospital at East Legon Hills.
East Legon Hills.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of them say you guys do an amazing job.
Thank
so
you.
I'm happy.
Thank you.
I'm happy that you keep doing
and
raising the standards.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's always good to be able to do things that pleases the patients at the end of the day. Right.
Well, whilst you were away, I was so down. You know, I was missing my doctor. You know, I wouldn't say it was affecting my mental health, but you came at a good time because today we need to have a conversation about mental health. I think earlier we mentioned that May is the Mental Health Awareness Month.
I heard it.
Yes.
Yeah, you were talking about it.
Is that what you call the Purple Month, huh?
Purple Month.
Is that why you're wearing purple and sitting in the purple chair?
There's purple all over the place.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay, you know what? So our colors at Medicas, purple and flat. Or purple and flat. They call it magenta, but if you want to be swag, you call it flat.
Flat?
Yes.
Flat and so color.
Sure.
Since when?
Magenta.
I've heard the magenta, no.
Yeah, no.
But no crana mentiase.
I heard the dad.
No crana.
Says almost some friend flex.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
And then there's the purples. You know, purple is a color of royalty.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Palatinate purple.
So what is this?
Means we are men, we don't know about colors.
They thought that's red, yellow, blue, green.
Have you seen Mirabelle's hair?
Mirabelle's.
And almost say fiery red.
Fiery red.
You know, yeah.
Isn't that the one that witches? Never mind. It's okay.
Yeah, programmer. Well, so good afternoon to all our listeners, and it's Purple Month. It's the month of May, and it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So it is very important that we talk about our mental health issues.
Absolutely.
And Kwame, today I am very much interested in what we have picked to talk about, because this job that I do gives me a front row seat, unfortunately, to grief.
Grief?
Yes. Unfortunately, I sometimes have to be the bearer of bad news, difficult news, and I see the vacuum, the loss that people experience when we break bad news to them. And I've had this front row seat for 19 years now. And it can be very, very difficult. Difficult for us as practitioners, but I also see the pain and the anguish in those who receive that bad news. So today we're going to talk about something that is very, very emotive. It's difficult for most people to even describe how they feel. But I can assure you that we all grieve.
Yeah.
At one point or the other in our lives, to the point where we can even say grief is normal, a part of human experience and existence. So we've dedicated May as Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm happy on radio. I've heard quite a bit. We need to do more. There's Pink October, there's going to be Purple, or there is now Purple May, but we need to push it a lot more. And we all need to take some time out and look at our mental health. So Kwame, when we say mental health, what do we actually mean? I think we need to remind ourselves what mental health is about. Mental health is a state of well-being that enables people to cope with the normal stresses of life, realize their full potential, learn well, work well, and contribute to their community. All right. So the emphasis is on being able to cope with the normal stresses of life, being able to realize your full potential as a human being, being able to learn, being able to work, and then being able to contribute to your community or your society. So if you're able to do all of these things, then we can tick that box and say, well, your mental health is not impaired. So we need to create a lot of awareness. So you can find it in different aspects of your life, at the workplace, at home, at church, in your old boys, old girls, group. It shows up. So today we're going to talk about one aspect of mental health that I believe will find its way into your home, into your workplace, into the church, into the mosque, everywhere. And it is grief. So Kwame, what is grief? Grief is a natural emotional response to loss of someone, the loss of someone, or something you determine to be special or significant. Grief is not necessarily linked to death. And that's why I bring in something special or something significant, the loss. Again, when we say you lose someone, we're not talking necessarily about death, but Kwame, you can lose a friend because the relationship has gone south or gone sour. Typically, there's some money arrangement, you do some business transaction, and then things go south, and then you lose that friend, not through death, but the friendship, the relationship is broken beyond repair.
They take to your eye.
I swear, both eyes.
I see some before.
You know. So I was going to ask, have you grieved?
Oh,
when was the last time you experienced the pain of loss?
Yeah, I didn't even consider that part as grieving, you know. But now that you mention it, I actually remember how I grieve. What's the pastors of grief?
Yeah.
Grove. Mine, there was grove grief.
Right. So the loss here can be through death, through a broken relationship.
Right.
So people can lose their marriages, right? So that loss can be that marriage. It's gone.
Yeah.
It could be that boyfriend, girlfriend that you invested so much in terms of time, not necessarily money. Or it could be that iPhone, Kwame says, iPhone 15, 16, and 18.
Yeah, I'm still at 10. So. I'm still at the 9, 10 that side. So.
Right. So people invest in that, and you can lose that particular phone, that I don't know, that television, that house. Unfortunately, Kwame, we live in this country, and we all saw what happened on Saturday. Unfortunately, it's not the first time. There's been also the Kumasi fire. People lost. So I want us to think about grieving in this broader context.
Okay.
When you lose something or you lose someone, we all tend to grieve. Now, Kwame, what are some of the types of grief? There are multiple ways to experience grief. And therefore, we have what we call the different typologies. The first one I want to talk about is anticipatory grief. This one is particularly interesting. I think we all experience it at some point. Typically, the person is grieving before the actual loss. So, I see this often in the hospital, the inpatient unit. Someone has a terminal disease, a very terrible disease. No, medically they're not making a recovery. And you break the news to the family. They know, the children are aware, the spouse is aware, and they know something terrible is going to happen down the line. So they all handle it differently. Some of them experience what we call anticipatory grief, where the actual loss hasn't happened, but they know it's coming. They're processing the grief beforehand. And sometimes this allows you to prepare to face the loss when it actually comes. Cushions you. The shock is not as big. So that is anticipatory grief. Kwame, there's also delayed grief. Before that, abbreviated grief. Sometimes you are able to move through the grieving process quickly. So quickly, sometimes people think that, this person lost so and so, and look at him or look at her. The person didn't grieve. Well, those people who do the anticipatory grief tend to also then experience what we call the abbreviated grief.
Okay.
They've gone through the stages, and we'll talk about the stages of grief today before we look at the management next week. So people who have abbreviated grief most of the time would have had the anticipatory grief. So they're going through the preparatory phases. So when the loss actually happens, then they are able to go through the stages very, very quickly. The next type of grief is what we call the delayed grief. Instead of experiencing the emotions that accompany grief immediately after a loss, the person feels them days, weeks, or even months after the event.
I know that one.
You know that one, eh?
That one, it normally happens with heartbreak. It happens with heartbreak. They break your heart, then you do I try. Like, you know what I mean? Then some days later, at 1 a.m., you wake up and you shout, "Hey!"
Then we will ask you,
that's that one.
That's that one. This one I can see.
Yeah, 1 a.m.
Experience.
Sharp. And it's always 1 a.m. It's always 1 a.m. You just wake up, you lie down, you remember.
That Kawakuma. Right, so that's delayed grief as explained by my physician assistant, Kwame Sechiama.
Yes, sir.
Perfect description. Kwame, the next one is inhibited grief. Inhibited grief. This type of grief involves repressing emotions. Most of us haven't been taught how to process the confusing emotions that arise when we are grieving. And Kwame, I think there are some sociocultural dimensions to this particular type. And I think when you are raised in our part of the world as a man, then we tend to suppress grief. That means this small thing they take choke your eye. Or if you're a man, you have to be bounced at least 7 times.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So we tend to suppress. It doesn't mean you won't experience it, but we tend to suppress it. Inhibited grief. It's not something that I will encourage.
Yeah.
And I would explain why. The next one is cumulative grief. So, Kwame, with cumulative grief, you are working through multiple losses at once. You see, sometimes they say when trouble comes, it comes in battalions. So, Kwame, sometimes you can wonder why. Today is this, tomorrow is that, tomorrow is that. And Kwame, I think by a certain age, most of us would have gone through that period in your life before.
Yeah.
Where things hit you from all angles.
True.
Too many things at the same time. So we call that cumulative grief. For example, you are grieving because your marriage just went south. And then at the same time, they tell you number one has done his thing. Then the money too is gone there. Then maybe at the same time some flooding.
They do you haircut.
Exactly. They shave your armpit hair, the hair everywhere. They give you Sakura because of DD, why. So that's cumulative grief. Now the last type of grief, we call it the collective grief. So most of us think that grief is personal, but Kwame, grief can also be collective, where groups grieve. Kwame, this evening one group will grieve.
Really?
This evening there will be group grieving. It's a match for her.
That will be Man United fans. Daniel Cranton and the Man United fans. There will be group grief. In fact, this is a perfect timing for this conversation. Please tell them how to manage the grief.
We haven't mentioned any name. But collective grief, that one, it occurs in groups where you have major events, wars, disasters, COVID. Something
you don't need to explain the thing. You've just explained. We have perfect example.
We have perfect example.
We want again.
Right.
Imagine grieving in red.
See any brand they share red. Right. So Kwame, now let's look at the stages of grief. Now we know we are experiencing a loss. But Kwame, you have to go through it. So there are 5 stages of grief. And I'm going to share those stages quickly, so that next week we'll talk about the management.
Okay.
So, Kwame, the first stage is always denial. Denial. So, with denial, the individual refuses to accept the reality of the situation. Kwame, here we are with phone. Sitting in a car, you had the phone, you got out of the throttle, you don't have the phone again. I can assure you in that instant, you search through your bag like 15 times. Thinking that the thing is in some pocket or something. Then you ask someone next to you, oh, please, can I borrow your phone? I want to call the number. Please, you call the number, the phone to be switched off. it has gotten to the place where we sell the phone and they are selling it already. But when there's that denial, you cannot accept the situation. It happens with death. It happens with fires. I've had to treat somebody in a Brie whose house got gutted.
Wow.
You know, she was at work, and you know the shock of it. Hey, into a dinosaur. No, this can't be true. You know, so I think most people experience it, from losing something from a phone, to losing a close relative, to losing a house, a car. And there's always that denial. It's always a defense mechanism that helps to protect ourselves from the pain of that situation. Now, if you're able to go through that denial phase, and Kwame, this is where the individual and then also social support systems and also the medical support systems will help you move from one stage to the other. You have to go through all the stages. If you're able to go through the denial stage, then Kwame, you arrive at stage 2. And stage 2 is anger. Here, once the person has accepted that I have lost something, most people tend to get angry. They are angry with themselves. They are angry with their doctors. They are angry with their friends. They are angry with family members. They are angry even with God. Hey, so all the sweeping that I've been sweeping the church, all the contribution, harvest, and God, you sit there and allow my son to die. I've heard it many times. People then, you want somebody to blame. And it is either, sometimes people even blame the person who they've lost, either through death, they blame the deceased. Look at what you have done to me. Look at how you have left us. So that is the anger phase of grieving. And we need, those of us who are standing by the side, we need to understand when people go through this anger phase. Because if you are not careful, you may say some hurtful or you may do some hurtful things. Please understand that they are grieving and they are in the phase of anger. Kwame, the third stage is bargaining. I must say that this stage is often very irrational. Kwame, at this point, the person's anger dies down. And then they are saying, oh God, I know that I've been smoking. I know I've not been going to church. If you bring back my son, I will go to church. I will never miss any Sunday. I will stop smoking. I will not insult anybody again. They are trying to trade off. If you let me find this iPhone, I tell you, I'll give collection. I'll give collection every Sunday. Please let me find this iPhone. Oh, if I don't find this ring, oh, it's what carat gold. And then they are mentioning all of those things. They want to bargain, but I'm sorry, it's not going to work. Stage 4, once that realization hits them that you are not bargaining your way out of this, depression sets in. So, Kwame, depression is this profound sadness people experience for most parts of the day, every day, for a period of at least 2 weeks. We see depression when the person becomes withdrawn. The person will not partake in the usual activities. They are eating what they are not supposed to eat. They are putting on weight. They're not even going to work. So this can be a very, very difficult period. Then lastly, they get to stage 5, which is acceptance. And this is where we want everybody to get to. From the denial phase, you need to get to acceptance. This is a period of grief when we finally come to terms with accepting the reality of our loss. When we have reached this stage of acceptance, we no longer deny or struggle against our grief. During this time, we work to focus our energy on celebrating either the life that is lost, the loved one, even if it is not death, but you look back at the relationship that you were in and you try and pick out the positives out of that relationship that you have lost. If it is your iPhone, if it is your ring, if it is your house, you may even have memories that you made in that house. You play back those memories and you move on. Okay, how do I get my next house? Or how do I get my next home? So we need everybody to go through these 5 stages and come out at the acceptance phase. You make plans to move forward. So Kwame, these are the different types of grief. These are the stages that most cultures will go through. Some do it very overtly, depending on your sociocultural background. You may not see it overtly, but everybody goes through, or most people will go through these stages. So Kwame, next week we will talk about how we try and manage grief, looking at our cultural context.
This is quite very detailed, and I think that a lot of people would relate to the stages. Maybe we didn't know the literature of it,
right?
But I can
people go through the
really
emotions.
Tell that people have gone through the emotions.
Right.
In fact, I just got a message from Rookie who says, Lexis, I can really relate to the stages doctor's talking about. I ended up in the hospital, Seth. This was for a work phone that got stolen in my possession.
Wow.
iPhone 11 Pro Max. So yeah, I can imagine that. And then this one here says, Lexis, I lost my mom a couple of weeks ago, and I tell you, I've been grieving ever since. I can't teach as I used to. I can't eat well, and it has affected my overall health. I want to stop, but I'm finding it very difficult to overcome the reality of losing my dear mom. She was my backbone and pillar. I'm lost, Lexis, and I don't know how to bounce back. It's not been easy for me at all. Let Doc help me out.
Surely we can help. We can really, really help. She should reach out after the show.
Yeah.
As most people would do after the show. We've got our mental health unit. Crack team, very good. And Kwame, we are always there, to help.
Okay. So
she can reach us on 0501 477 340. 0501 477 340. Send us a WhatsApp and someone would reach out to you and then make an appointment and come see us at number 10 Kincho Street, East Legon Hills branch.
Doc, thank you so much. This has been a very important conversation. We're grateful. And we're looking forward to the next part of it, how to manage grief next week. Dr. Ayao Safo is the CEO of Medicas Hospital, East Legon Hills, and Mampo Ekwapim. I'm Lexis Bale.
It's been a long